What channel are you on?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tiago's father here from the Red Sea Podcast. We have a big Titanic tie coming up. Manchester United versus Liverpool at Old Trafford. Cristiano Ronaldo versus Mohamed Salah. Liverpool could keep pace with Chelsea and City, who have won today in their respective Premier League games. Chelsea with an emphatic result against Norwich, and Brighton with City with a fantastic result against Brighton 4-1. We're the Red Sea Podcast. We're live with your Fab 4 preview. Let's roll that intro.
Tell the world we are Liverpool, champions of England.
We've conquered all of Europe. We're never gonna stop. From Palestine to Turkey, we've won the fucking lot. But Paisley and the Shankly, the fields of Anfield gold. We are unsupported, and we come from Liverpool.
We are back again, and we have got someone from the Red Sea Down Under, our sister channel. They're doing epic things in Australia and beyond. The Training Ground is an absolutely sensational show. George, talk to the viewers. Let them know where you're from.
G'day, guys. Sydney. Actually, I'm from Sydney, but I'm currently in Brisbane, Australia. So it's funny because this should be a 7 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning for me, but it's actually 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm really full dedication from us here at the Red Sea Down Under this morning.
I agree. Always dedication. So big shout out to you and PK headed up the Red Sea Down Under division. These guys are absolutely smashing it with some sensational content coming to you directly on our YouTube at the Red Sea Podcast. You all know what you've got to do. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell button. And I've got my regulars with me as well. Courtney B. Talk to me. Do you know what? We've got some amazing news from Courtney B. Yeah, some amazing news.
No,
this is sensational news.
No,
do we tell the viewers?
No.
What's all right? Okay, all right.
No,
we
not
won't.
yet.
But
Not yet.
Courtney B shared some sensational news, and don't worry, guys, who are all up in their DMs and watching this channel. She's not engaged. Yeah, she hasn't got a fella, and she's not pregnant. But it's other amazing news. Yeah. Courtney, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I wouldn't be here if it was 6 a.m. No, not gonna lie. Think I would take the sleep. But no, I'm excited. I'm excited for tomorrow. I feel like normally I'm really nervous and on edge, but I'm a little bit more excited for this time.
No, I'm still nervous and on edge, because this is massive. This is huge, and without further ado, my co-D, my partner in crime, my main man, SS. What are you saying?
I'm good, mate. I agree with the guys. I'm excited for the game tomorrow. Our Watford vlog, I think, is approaching 2K views, so all going well on the channel. Approaching 500 subscribers as well. So anyone watching that's not subscribed, as you say, you know what to do. But yeah, really excited for tomorrow's game. And like you mentioned in the intro, we kind of need a win to keep pace with Chelsea. I know they only played Norwich, but there's a long way to go in the season, but I don't want to fall, 4 points, 3 points, 2 points behind. Even at this stage, it's going to be a really down to the wire season, I think, between the big three.
I agree with you, and let's just touch a little bit on those opening results. Chelsea played in the early kickoff against Norwich at Carrow Road.
Norwich under 7, wasn't it?
Yeah. Look, let's be real. Let's be very, very real. Norwich are a very good Championship team, but they're not a very good Premier League team. Chelsea, though, were emphatic. I have to say, props to Chelsea Football Club. The football that you played today was absolutely fantastic. No Lukaku, no Werner as well. A few academy prodigies, in Mason Mount, getting on the score sheet and grabbing a hat-trick. A little bit of a helping hand of an own goal as well, but the result was never really in doubt. Chelsea were absolutely fantastic today and set the standard, laid down a real marker. And that's what playing in the early fixture does. It allows you to lay down the challenge and throw down the gauntlet. Yes, R.I.P. Kobach. Dude was on toast. Hence why he doesn't play for Liverpool Football Club. But we won't talk about that. Then Manchester City in the late kickoff, the 5:30, go to Brighton, and Brighton play some stellar football under Graham Potter. It's good stuff, and they stick to their principles and philosophy. They play out from the back. They're brave on the ball. They're looking to get forward. It's progressive through the lines. But City ultimately too strong. 4-1 victors. Where does that now leave Liverpool Football Club? And George, look, I'll come to you really, really quick. This is a must-win. This is a must-win.
Yeah, I like two things about that, the way that you say that. The first one is obviously we want to beat Manchester United, but also it's this idea that it's just another game. Like, I think that's the way that Jurgen Klopp came into Liverpool. It's this idea that he didn't really care about, he does care about the history, don't get us wrong, and don't get him wrong, but it is just another game. And so I at the same time of I love bigging up the Manchester United game for the history and for what it is. This is Liverpool, you know, the best team in the world, one of the best teams in the world, especially over the last few years, just needing to beat another shite team. So that's kind of, I like putting it in that way because they are shit, but we have to be careful. And there's a few things that we went through on the training ground. And one of the main, so by the way, I'm just going to keep pushing that show up here. If you guys haven't watched it, please give it a watch, especially now that we're in the lead up to the game, give it a watch to see what we say. But one of the things we said was, it feels like the Manchester United team can't really follow a plan. And it's only when they start panicking and they just all start saying, let's just do our own thing, that they start to perform. And so, yeah, I think for Liverpool, we just got to treat it like another game and get the win there. And that's really cool because I like it when Liverpool are just kind of, they're direct and they're just thinking about, we just need to win. I mean, it is Manchester United, but I do like that idea of who cares if it's Ollie's Manchester United. They're not important, and let's try and put them back down where they belong. It would be a great thing for us if we can just treat them like any other team. 3 points all over Red Rover. We just go on to the next one.
I agree. I think 3 points is crucial and it's essential. Courtney, it's a must-win, isn't it?
Yeah. 100%. This is, like I said before in the previous pod, like this is the biggest game for me of the season. I always look for United games. That to me, this is like rivalry. Like I've been speaking to all my friends that support United. I've been getting their opinions because for me, it's like at school when a few years ago, well, quite a few years ago now, I used to get the shit ripped out of me for the fact that I was a Liverpool fan at school.
Yeah.
All the time. And we were finishing below United. And this is my time now. This is my time to give it back.
100%.
So I need a win tomorrow. I need it. I need it. They need it. Everyone needs it.
Yeah.
And it's just this. And the thing is, though, the players know that. They know it's a huge game. And Ollie knows that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with everything you just said there. Being a kid, born in the 80s, growing up in the 90s with a dominant Manchester United, it was fucking hell. It was hell. You know, being a Liverpool fan was hell. And the only kind of saving grace and shining light in that was the fact that we had Steven Gerrard, who was absolutely tearing it up from the get-go into the noughties. It made it okay, yeah? Champions League victory as well in 2005, Europa or UEFA Cup victory in the early 2000s. The treble that we did, the cup treble that we did, it made it okay. You know, the Gerrard final against West Ham, Istanbul, so many iconic moments that made it cool. But we cannot ignore the fact that Manchester United in recent times have been the most successful Premier League team, and Liverpool have almost been on the outskirts of that. And SS, this is a good opportunity to come on to you. Is it a must-win game for Liverpool Football Club? And then I'll allow you just to get into the head-to-heads for the viewers as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one because must-win isn't, I wouldn't say it's must-win. I mean, if we come away with a draw, it's not the end of the world. You know, but there's sort of another 30 games left of the season to play. You know, Man City have got to play Chelsea, etc., etc. But like I said
Courtney
before,
looks like she's just been sick in her mouth.
even this early stage, you don't want to fall behind, do you? You know, Chelsea and City look really strong. You know, I look at Man United in the week against Atalanta, and you know, they started with Fred and McTominay because they said they were too open against Leicester, and they found themselves 2-0 down pretty early on. So I still don't think they really know what team to play in any kind of situation, whether they're at home against a team they feel that they should beat, or you know, against a team like Liverpool in red hot form. But you know, they brought Pogba on, and that kind of changed the game for them. They brought Cavani on, and they were really direct with Ronaldo and Cavani together. But then I look at the game for tomorrow, and again, it's difficult to pick what Ollie's going to go for. Is he going to go for McFred again, or is he going to go a bit more attackive? And I think the midfield battle is key tomorrow. And I'd say that you'd probably be able to pick 10 out of the 11 Liverpool starters tomorrow pretty confidently. And that one midfielder, whether that be Milner, whether that be Keita, whether that even be Chamberlain. Jones is back in training yesterday. Don't think he'll quite make it. Thiago's out. So I think that's where it's going to be won and lost. And I think Fabinho is the key for us. He's the man in there that Man United need. That's the position that they miss, because I was having a chat. Obviously, I did a show the other day with my brother on the channel, and he was kind of alluding to the fact that it's kind of two five-a-side teams with nothing in between. So you've got De Gea in the back four, or sometimes McFred, and then you've got like the front five, and there's nothing really linking them together. They're just all kind of waiting for the ball to be linked up. And we've got Henderson, we've got Fabinho that literally join the defense and the attack. And I even feel that our centre backs bring the ball out. You know, Matip's got the best ball carries out of all centre backs. We know what Van Dijk can do with his distribution, and our fullbacks are the best in the world. I don't think United have any of that ingredients, and I think that's where they fall down. But in terms of their head-to-heads recently, the last 5 results at Old Trafford, obviously 4-2 win in May for Liverpool, Jota, Firmino 2, and Mo with the old celebration on the floor in that weird greeny blue kit. Before that, we played them in January, lost 3-2 in the FA Cup, which was one of them. I don't think it was our top of our list at that time when we were really clinging on for a top 4 position with crazy injuries. Salah getting a couple of goals in that one. October 2019 was the one before that. It was the Lallana equaliser after the Rashford goal with the injury, which I think it was on Origi, wasn't it? I think there was a foul and a bit of a dodgy decision that they played on, and Rashford scored at Lallana. Saved us at the death. One before that, Feb 19 was 0-0, pretty boring. And one before that, United beat us 2-1. That was the Rashford double, cutting in from the left-hand side onto his right foot. So we've not really had the best of times, to be honest. There's, you know, Man United have only won one of their last 10 meetings with Liverpool, drawn 6, lost 3. Following the 4-2 win in May, Liverpool were looking to secure consecutive league victories at Old Trafford for the first time since January 2002. So a couple of interesting stats there. But like you say, on paper, on form, Liverpool are the team. But as Courtney said, this is the rivalry. This is the game that they're all going to be up for. So predicting the result and the score is very difficult.
I agree with everything, like every bit of what you just said there. This is a huge game. Now, look, I said on a pod about 3 weeks ago that for me, City at the moment is the bigger game, solely because of what it could mean in terms of the title race. Yeah, United lose this. Yeah, on the show when we had Terry on from the Football Terrace, shout out to you, Terry. He was saying 9 points away from the top, with Liverpool and Chelsea only a point separating if we win, with City potentially only a point separating. 3 of the biggest teams, most informed teams in the Premier League. How do Manchester United ever think they can make that gap up? They're going to need miracles to make that gap up. So they must get something. They're playing at home as well. They have to take something from this game, whether it be a point or all 3. Yeah. Same as Liverpool, to keep pace with our rivals in Chelsea and Manchester City. We must take all 3 points. And all that the result that Chelsea have got today, the City result today, has just heaped masses and masses of pressure on both teams, Jurgen Klopp and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But SS, I like what you said there. There's 30 games left to play in the season. This isn't the beginning and end for Jurgen Klopp, but it could be, very well could be, the end for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the wheel. And George, I'm going to come to you on this one as well. If United lose in spectacular fashion, which I think they will, but we'll get to predictions at the end of the show. Does Ole get dismantled and removed from the wheel? Because this could be another masterclass from Jurgen Klopp to get another Manchester United manager sacked. Can you imagine? 2 Manchester United manager sackings, one in Jose Mourinho and one in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if it's done tomorrow. I mean, the comments are raging. In Ole we trust. Ole. Look, we are all pro fucking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because the longer he's in charge at Manchester United, the shitter they get, the less they challenge, the more banter it is for us. But there's got to be something in getting a United manager sacked. George, take it.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because we got Pete, fellow Red Sea Down Under in the. He's actually in the gym, but he's joining us here. We were both at the Manchester United game, Liverpool versus Man U, when Liverpool win 3-1 and do sack Mourinho. So we were in the ground when that happened. So maybe we should have hopped on a plane if they allow us here in Australia to go across to the other side of the world. And we should have just showed up, just in case anybody does want him sacked. But maybe that's a good thing because now that we're not there, maybe he won't get the sack. But it's funny the image I get when you say these things is this going to throw Ole off the wheel? It's like the cartoons when the cartoon character is on the boat and they spin the. It's like, you know what it is? It's like the Mickey Mouse, the original Mickey Mouse, where he's holding onto that boat wheel and he's just spinning with it. That kind of it's kind of it's like an analogy for how it's an analogy for how Ole does manage this team. It's just I think that wheel is doing all the work for him. I don't think he's. You know what it actually is? You guys watch The Office when Dwight is on the US office when he wants to ride the boat, so they give him the fake wheel, and he goes, "What's that? Sorry."
Thierry Henry touches Kara's leg in shock, mate. I'm here for it because that was an epic Sky Sport moment. That is epic. We'll go down in history after the Brendan Rodgers shocking. I like that sacking. Everyone was shocked. Everyone was actually shocked. Come on, we knew it was coming.
But it's kind of like they've given him a fake wheel. Like I said, with Ole, I don't think they're listening to him, and it's when they stop following his orders that they start to claw back a little bit. But I to answer your question, I don't think this gets him sacked unless it's something like 7-0. I mean, we'll go on to score predictions later on, but it's just, I think that United just need to wait until next season, and it's really bad. It's the work, and it's like Atalanta. I wanted them to lose that game. But it's almost like Ronaldo is this weird. It's like when Darth Vader in Star Wars ends up doing the good stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, go Darth Vader. Ronaldo is simultaneously keeping Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in a job a little bit. He's scoring these late goals, and it's making him look a bit better. So I think there's a bit of a balancing act. It's like in Star Wars, balancing of the Force. I think the team is keeping him in a job. I don't think he gets sacked after this game. But let's, it's kind of like we're sitting here trying to pick and choose. Let's maybe 2-3-0, maybe 2-0, because, we don't want the 7-0 so that he gets sacked. We want to keep him at the wheel. That's for sure.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I'm here for it either way. Sack him. Yeah. Keep him. Yeah. It's a win-win for me. I don't care. I want to see misery, pain and suffering on every single Manchester United fan's face come the end of this game. I want to see tears. I want to see shirts getting burnt, season tickets getting thrown onto the football pitch. I want to see everything after this game, because we have to be real about this. They have had a dominance for the last 20 years. They've had a dominance. Yeah. So there's been a sea change though. Since Jurgen Klopp's arrived, there has been a sea change. Liverpool have become a dominant force. Manchester United have been faltering. Louis van Gaal, shit. Jose Mourinho comes in, shit. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer comes in, shit. They can't seem to get the formula. And let's just stick with the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer theme at the moment. And I'll come to you, Courtney. Does this bloke actually have a clue what he's actually doing as a Manchester United manager? Look at the embarrassment of riches that he has in his team from front to back. David De Gea, Luke Shaw, Varane, Maguire, £80 million centre back. I don't rate him, but you pay £80 million for a reason. Well, hell, we played 50 million for, or 35 million for Andy Carroll, so maybe you don't play that kind of money for a reason. But you know, he's got a little bit of something about him. Yeah, Wan-Bissaka, who apparently has all the attributes to be a top right back, can't even lace Trent's fucking boots. But never mind. In the midfield, you then got Bruno. You've then got Pogba. Yeah, McFred. Fred they chose to sign over Fabinho. Are they actually smoking? But they did it anyway.
As well, wasn't he?
50 M's they paid and they signed him over Fabinho. Are you smoking? Wow. But they did it anyway. Then you go to the forward players. They've got Rashford, Sancho, Martial, Greenwood, Cavani, and one of the greatest footballers. And look, I love football, so it doesn't pain me to say it, but one of the greatest footballers ever to play the game in Cristiano Ronaldo. How in the hell is this manager not producing results? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, I feel like have you seen the meme where it's like this trailer, like really run down, and it's like a Bugatti in the drive? That just sums it up fantastically, because that is literally what is going on. Individually, he has good players, but I don't know if it's his tactics, how he manages them behind the cameras. It's like he's a bit deluded, to be honest with you. They were getting booed off at half-time against Atlanta, and he's like, oh, well, this section was really good. Like, they weren't booing, they were singing. Like, if your fans are booing you off, you should be fuming about it.
It's never happened in the Jurgen
Klopp
era.
Section, these are really good people. Like, they just sang. Like, well done. Like, no, that's not a thing. Like, he's just out of his depth and he's drowning.
He even said, didn't he? He said, I think we played well first half against Atalanta. They lost 2-0. Yeah.
He doesn't know. And thing is, though, didn't they take him from some failing, like, was it like Norwegian?
Mulder.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, Mulder.
Why are you giving him a big job like that?
It's a nostalgic decision, isn't it? Because he's an ex-player. It's the same with Lampard. They're not top managers that deserve this role. Look what Tuchel did with Lampard's squad. Where they were and look where they are now. If United got a proper manager in, they could be in that top 4 title challenge. But
exactly, this is why Ollie needs to stay. This is why Ollie should stay at the wheel.
Let's hope that they never do. Let's hope that they never do, and that he stays at the wheel forevermore. SS.
If I might say very quickly, with that, just because you know the idea of what does Ollie do that's good. I think we've seen with Arteta the idea of a football manager with who's it looks like a great tactician, doesn't know how to execute. I think the only thing that Ollie does know how to do is maybe put his arm around a shoulder. He is a Manchester United legend in that regard, albeit a super sub. You know, so you know, I think the things that he's done well is he's steadied the boat a little bit. And one thing that I saw him do last season, which is, you know, something that we have to watch out for that actually punished us a lot, is the overlapping runs of his fullbacks, in particular Shaw on the left-hand side. I haven't actually seen it as much this season. That was something that, you know, he made possible with his football, which he deserves credit for. I just think that, and we went over this in the training ground, by the way, I think the introduction of Ronaldo has disrupted their press. They can't all be up the pitch at the same time. There is a moment, again, like Pete says in the training ground, when they go down, they just all flood forward and it starts working for them. So that's what we have to be careful of. But yeah, by and large, the starting lineup doesn't get into that swing very, very quickly. So there was a comment there, blow them away first 20. That could be a good thing. But also by blowing them away first 20, it means they've got more time to come back and the rest of the players to kind of do their own thing. But I think that is something that I've found from Ollie that's been decent. Also, the idea of playing Pogba as a pseudo winger, but also a centre midfielder, basically to do whatever he wants, that can also be dangerous. But yeah, look, he's done some interesting things, but by and large, yes, you're all right. He's basically shite.
They were just in big trouble, weren't they? When Mourinho went out, you know, they'd made the wrong decision for the 4th time. You know, you listed that list of managers, James, that they've had. They were under big pressure to get it right, and they brought Ollie in to get the fans off their back because there's nostalgia of the 99 goal. And to be fair, let's be honest, since Ollie's come in, he's tried to do everything in the image of Sir Alex Ferguson, hasn't he? Everything he does, everything he says, he talks and acts as much like Fergie as he possibly can. In his press conference, he tries to say the kind of things in the same way that Fergie used to say them, the United way and all that kind of thing. But yeah, they fell for it. A few decent results. Rio Ferdinand, give him what he wants. And when you're Man United manager, it doesn't matter how good you are going to win some games. So they've kind of got a sack line, and he kind of does this, doesn't he? Every time he gets to that goal, because like George has just said, you've got players in that team, in that squad that can save you, that can make moments. They lose at home to Villa, they draw with Everton, they're 2-0 down to Atalanta, and they turn it around with a 3-2. They've got those players that can make those moments. But over a season, was it 7 years since they won a major trophy? It's time for him to go, isn't it? If you're a Man United fan. But like you say, I can't see him going tomorrow. If we win 5-6-0, I don't think he goes. I think he gets to the end of the season at least.
Yeah, and just to close off this segment of the show in regards to will he go, will he not go? For me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is good for business. He's not volatile like a Van Gaal that says what he wants and does what
yes
he
man,
wants.
isn't he?
You're right. He's not volatile like a Jose Mourinho that does what he wants and says what he wants. He is the manager that you say, no, we're doing it this way. And he says, okay, boss. Simple as that. It is Sir Alex Ferguson pulling the strings from behind the board or from the touchline or sorry, from the stands. It is him pulling the strings. I don't personally think that whilst CR7 is a sensational signing, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer never wanted him as a signing. It wasn't on his list, but it's too good an opportunity to pass up. Ronaldo becomes available, you sign him. Shirt sales, and he's going to bag you a couple of goals, but it was never on his shopping list.
Needed a CDM. They didn't need another striker.
You said it in one, and you feel that they identify positions of weakness which they need to strengthen, and they haven't done it. Let's jog it on slightly. Expected lineup. Now, I don't want to say that we're in an injury crisis in terms of the midfield, but we've got injuries, yeah? Harvey Elliott out as a long-term injury, although it was good to see some images of him doing some work on an exercise bike, and trying to stay fit and staying in and around the training and staying in and around the team, which is good. Yeah, great desire from a young player to stay in the loop, because often when you're injured, you can be out of the loop and kind of lose touch and potentially be out of favour when you come back. So that's commendable from him. Thiago, well, I don't want World War III to break out on the channel again, but Thiago's Thiago. We know where we're at with that. Curtis Jones,
Thiago always injured, not Thiago Alcantara.
Well, there you go. Curtis Jones was unlucky to get injured because he was playing some sensational football. He was starting to put his stamp and really put his paws on this Liverpool football team. PK is a big fan of Curtis Jones, young player coming through from the academy. But again, was unlucky with injury. He's just returned back to training. Naby Keita in and out of injury in terms of when he kicked a blade of grass. Will he play? Will he not play? Milner, small injury in there as well, in between since Thiago's been injured as well. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, is he in the team? Is he out of the team? The midfield seems like an issue. You know who's going to be our strongest back four. We know who that is. Yeah. Ali is the goalkeeper. We know that. The front three, we kind of know that based on the form that they're in. The form is scintillating. Mane looks dangerous. Firmino looks dangerous. Salah is the best player in world football right now. Damn it. He is the best. Yeah. But the midfield, we just never know what combination is going to play week in, week out. I mean, Courtney, I'll come to you on this as well. Who do you expect to start in this midfield against Manchester United?
I mean, Fab and Hendo, they're a given. Those are the two where you know that they're going to be playing. I think he's probably going to go with Keita, but then his defending was just shocking. Like, bags a goal and then
switches off.
Yeah.
Switches off.
Like, that was... And Klopp went mad at him and took him off. But it's frustrating to see because it's like he's not even trying. It's like, I feel like I could have put a tackle in. Like, now you're getting his wages. Like, I just took the guy out. But he just let him run, and it's like you're not even giving 100%, and that pisses me off. Yeah, twice. That pisses me off.
Twice.
So I don't know. I don't know if he's just gonna stay with Keita or if he's gonna mix it up, put Million. I don't know.
Do you know what? That is that hole, isn't it? It's the genie-shaped hole that we've not replaced, and that's why we can't pick the midfield three.
SS, stop.
Like Scotty said, Fabinho is a given. Henderson is a given. Gini Wijnaldum would be a given, but we haven't replaced him.
Gone.
There's that big hole.
To go on top of that point, by the way, it's this idea of Liverpool get punished for the thing that we, like when the season started, I said there's an obvious thing that you should do, which is replace Gini Wijnaldum, and they didn't. It's either you don't let him go or you replace him. And we saw this last season. Liverpool do not learn their lessons in the transfer market or in terms of preparing their squad for these things. That is not there's nothing bad on Jurgen Klopp for that. It's nothing. It's not a dismissal of anybody's ability in the squad, but it just or in the club. But it just seems like we get punished for that. And I just feel like they should learn their lesson when something like that happens. Just do what Alex Ferguson used to do. He signed Michael Owen and lied to his face and said, I'm going to play you every week, and sat him on the bench every single week. He sat there, he got Jisung Park and he said, I'm going to play you every week, and he didn't. He lied to everybody. Like, have a little, Jurgen Klopp isn't that type of person, and he never wants to become that type of person, but we've been punished last season. We said we need a centre back. We lost Dejan Lovren. We didn't replace him. We had an issue. Look at the fates working against us now. Look at how, this invisible force is slowly picking off our midfield, going, told you should have replaced Jimmy. It's kind of annoying. But having said that, I do think we have the midfield and we have a way to evolve without Gini Wijnaldum. But right now, it's safe to say both parties, Wijnaldum and Liverpool, would just love to go back in time, use the time machine and from Back to the Future, and just redo that one, and let's just stay together. That was a bad decision.
Agreed.
Do you know what? I just didn't want to get into this. I just didn't want to do it. I just didn't want to do it.
It's so obvious, though.
Right, come on, yeah.
Thiago last week, Genie this week. Let's go. I'm here for it.
No, fuck it. The replacement's there. He's there.
He's not
there
though.
Already.
It's Thiago always injured.
Guys, listen. We needed to evolve.
Why?
Gini Wijnaldum at the back end of the last season. I'm gonna say it straight. He was shit. He was shit.
He didn't have a contract, did he?
I don't care. If you want to stay at the club, you want to stay at Liverpool Football Club, and you want to play at one of the best clubs.
They've made it clear that they wasn't giving him one.
I don't give a rat's. You want to be at Liverpool Football Club and be at one of the best clubs in world football, you die and play for that fucking shirt. He didn't do it. That's why you went out the door, son. Now you're hugging the bench at PSG because you thought you were the big fucking I am, and you've gone there and you can't even get a fucking game. That tells me Jurgen Klopp is never right. Coutinho, example, can't get a game. Yeah. Who else? Emre Can went to Juventus, couldn't get a fucking game. Right? How many players have we seen walk out of Liverpool Football Club, and amount to sweet FA fuck all? Because we are the pinnacle of world football. When you play for Liverpool Football Club, it doesn't get any bigger. You might think it gets bigger, but it doesn't. Very few players have walked out of that club and gone on to better things. Torres being another one. Walked out of the club, didn't do anything more after that. The list goes on. Now, for me personally, I understand the Thiago situation. It's frustrating seeing a player with such talent sit on the bench and not be available. But as we've always said, we have got players in that midfield area which just aren't contributing. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain doesn't contribute. Naby Keita, I'm not being funny. Gini Wijnaldum's walked out of the club. You've been here for 4 years. You should be wanting to nail that starting role.
100%.
This is your chance. This is your chance to come in and say, do you know what, boss? I've been here for 4 years. I know I've let you down, but guess what? I'm ready to step up to the plate. And he hasn't done that. You got Curtis Jones coming in and staking a claim. Harvey Elliott, how old is he now? 18? Come back off a loan at Blackburn. He's come straight into the team and absolutely annihilating it. And albeit for an unfortunate injury from a shithouse of a challenge, he'd still be in that team now. So I don't buy into this whole Gini Wijnaldum's gone. Like, cry me a river. He's left. He's bottom tier now at PSG. Like, that's the end of it. We've got to move on as a football club. Sorry for the rant, guys, but this absolutely pains me every time we get into
to be
this.
fair, though, on the flip side, I mean, I agree what George was saying. Okay, fine. Let him go because he was approaching 30. Fine.
Yeah.
But replace him then. Let's sell Keita. Let's sell Chamberlain and let's buy Tielemans for 60 million.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And you and I, SS, we were banging the drum. We were on like Tielemans watch. Yeah, we were thinking it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. The transfer Tuesdays were rolling on and raging on. And we were going, we've got to sign this kid because that would have been a perfect replacement.
Yeah.
So where I feel Liverpool have let themselves down, not necessarily in letting Gini Wijnaldum go, but it's potentially looking at the likes of Naby Keita and going, you've had 4 years, sunshine. And
it's not going to change, is it?
You're not going to change. We're now in the 5th year of your contract at the club and you still haven't contributed. Why are you still sucking and bleeding the wage bill dry to play 30 minutes or 45 minutes of football? Yeah, score a worldie, look in the stars like, oh my God, how did I do that? Like, you even shocked your fucking self and then you get hauled at half time. Like, come on, guys. Like, he's done it twice. He scored an absolute banger and then he's looked up like, how in the fuck did I do that? Like, you don't even believe in your own talent. You don't even believe it. So how do you expect us to believe it? Oh.
But it's very, by the way, the only good thing about not signing a midfielder, in my opinion, and you were asking about like, you know, what midfield do you expect to start, and I'll get onto that. But firstly, I think us biding our time this year does open up the prospect of Bellingham next season. However, with the goal he just scored recently, I think Bellingham is now Mbappe for us. And I have a feeling this football club will just not fork out the money. And it's annoying because he's English. He loves Steven Gerrard. He's young. He's skillful. He's like a Steven Gerrard that can do a Ronaldo chop. You know, Gerrard was incredibly skillful, had the odd step over in his day. But this Jude Bellingham is unbelievable. But, you know, going back to, I have a feeling he's a replacement, and us not signing a Tielemans this season makes him way more gettable. Also, Tielemans' contract expires in 2023. He now becomes 40 million next season. So these are the things that our transfer, you know, what do you call them, the transfer team or whatever, this is what they're thinking about.
We like waiting a year for something we should have done 12 months before, don't we? So, you know.
Exactly. Hopefully, you know, it's a portfolio. You have about 10 investments and 2 of them go to shit. But if 8 of them work, then the whole thing goes up. So that's kind of where we're going. But sorry, go on.
This is it. This is what we talk about, risk-free transfer strategy. We don't like risk. Yeah, if we can avoid risk as much as possible, then we will do. And it hasn't served us well based on the back of last season. We should have brought a centre back in early doors. We know this. Yeah, but look, there you go. You beat me to it, mate. I literally took the words out of my mouth. I think Klopp knows who he wants to replace Gini, and he's not available yet. Like he did with Virgil. I agree with you. I mean, Jude Bellingham, and good, like, stay with me on this, guys. I liken this to a similar situation we had with Dele Alli. Yeah. At the time, Dele Alli was hot property. Yeah. We wanted Dele. Dele wanted Liverpool. Let's be clear. Yeah. We had him at the Liverpool training ground and we just didn't want to pay the money. We didn't want to pay it. It was like, I want 100+ grand a week. No, sorry, mate. You're only 18. We'll pay you 50. Fuck you. I'll go Spurs and get what I want. Do you see what I'm saying? The FSG, for all the good that they've done in the club, we look at the investment when they came in. We look at the training complex. We look at the main stand. We look at the Annie Roadside they're doing now. It's going to be impressive. But I don't hate FSG. I don't hate them. I'm not FSG out. I'm FSG step the fuck up. That's what I am. That's how I view it. Step up now. I'm not FSG out. I'm FSG step the fuck up. It's now time for us to be the dominant force which we are in world football and do everything that comes with. Chelsea gone out and spent how much money on Romelu Lukaku, who's scored how many goals? Like, they take those sort of risks because they're like, we need to close that gap. Liverpool just don't do that, and I feel we have to get more risky in our transfer strategy.
The thing that annoys me is to get where FSG came in at the start, we were shit. Like, we were truly terrible, right? And the hard work of 10 years is to get on the perch. And when you're on the perch, it takes very minimal transfers and slight adjustments to stay there.
To stay
you
there.
look
Yeah.
you look at Barcelona, you look at Real Madrid when they were the greats. Every summer, you just go, right, who's the one player in the 11 that could be improved? Right, him. Let's get that one position with our summer budget and we stay the best. We might bring a couple through the youth team. They'll grow through the season. Next summer, right, now the right back's not brilliant. This summer, 50 million budget on him. And what we've done, we've kept Karius for a year too long. We let Lovren go and didn't sign a centre-back for a year. Now we've let Gini go, who played 51 matches, and we're looking around going, Thiago plus Keita plus Chamberlain, that's 25, plus Milner, that maybe gets it up to 35. So next summer we're going to go, if we get another injury in midfield, we're in trouble. So next summer we're probably going to go, to be fair, we can't rely on this midfield, and we don't really trust Minamino to do anything in any position anywhere, unless it's against Lincoln in the League Cup. So we're going to need a midfielder next summer. So that's the annoying thing, and I agree with you, about stepping up. They've done all the hard work. They got the perfect manager for the club. Infrastructure's there. We had one of the best 11s in world football when we won the Champions League and the Premier League. And as it started to crumble away at times and a little bit here and there, we've not topped it up. And that's why we're not title champions of either at the moment.
Mate, agree with everything you just said there. Anyway, on to you about the expected Liverpool midfield. What do you think?
It's an interesting one because Fabinho and Henderson start. Milner in that three is too defensive. He won't play all three of them. He wants a box-to-box in there as well. So it's Keita or Chamberlain. Jones isn't going to come straight back into the squad, into the 11, in my opinion. He might be on the bench. Keita was crap, and Chamberlain you just don't know what you're going to get with him, do you? Does he start at Old Trafford? It's a difficult one. So I agree with Courtney. I think in terms of the last few fixtures, Keita seems to have got the nod, at least from the beginning. If Keita has a shocker again, you'll probably see Chamberlain on, hopefully not at half time if he's too bad, but 55, 60 minutes. Or if we've got a lead to protect, you might see James Milner come on. But if the score's at 0-0, I'd expect Chamberlain and Keita to share that midfield position.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. George,
can I just,
midfield?
Yeah. Midfield 3. I was going to say that we go through this again. Big plug for the training ground, but we predicted a Milner, Henderson, Fabinho midfield. And the thing is, I'm not against that because I say this all the time. James Milner was brought up as a winger. So you look at him play for the Salah goal against Atletico, who was almost hitting. And Milner's there a lot. And what happens is that midfield 3 turns into a 2 and a 1 when Milner plays. He starts floating up the top, and it's not a mistake. He does that in training, and Klopp goes, yeah, keep doing it. You do see him pop up right, pop up left. But the thing I also like seeing from him, not only is it that run from midfield, it's the goal against Watford. It's the overlap. And that's a way I think we can score against United is overlaps, because there's a lot of cutbacks that they've conceded. They conceded one against Atalanta a few games ago. Jamie Vardy's was a cutback that came to him. I think there's a couple of other goals that we go through on the training ground as well. It's the cutback from the byline. Now, that sounds simple enough to do. I think Arsene Wenger was one of the best managers to say, just cut the ball back into a dangerous area and someone's left butt hits it in. Who cares? Own goal. Who gives a shit? But we find ourselves doing early crosses and whatnot. We've actually found that, if you can get in behind those players and cut it back, maybe that's a way for us to score. I like Milner doing that. Also, we saw Henderson when he got moved from the 6 into the 8. He went round Trent about 2 or 3 times. And it's the lung-busting Henderson run where he's like, I'm going around you. And like the whole stadium knows that Henderson is there. And Henderson actually assists for Jota, I think, against, is it Leeds or is it Norwich, one of the earlier games, when he crosses it from that position. So those 2 midfielders I don't mind because they overlap, and that's a way that we can get at United. So my midfield 3 would probably be Milner, Henderson, Fabinho, but Chamberlain has been trying to copy what Henderson is doing, which is a good thing. This is how you get into the side. You copy the other players a little bit and then use your talent. But maybe Chamberlain can also do that overlapping run on the right-hand side. On the left, he can be a pseudo left winger. So he's also not a bad option. But I don't mind Milner starting.
Yeah, I want to see a bit more. I want to see a bit more, something a bit more explosive in the midfield. Personally, I feel that's a key battle. Pogba, Bruno in that midfield is a key area because both want to get forward. We can exploit the space that they would normally occupy, and Do you know what? Fuck it. I want to see the Ox. I want to see it. The last half that he played, he was good. Let's give him the opportunity, because what's the worst that can happen? You can get hauled off at halftime like we did with Naby Keita. So let's see it. So just jogging it on slightly, we spoke about it at the start of the show. Chelsea 7-0 against Norwich, City 4-1 against Brighton, both emphatic results. They're statement results, shockwave results through the Premier League. Yes, everything in context. Chelsea played Norwich and City played Brighton. But in those games, you make examples of those teams. You punish those teams to show your nearest title rivals that we mean business, and they've done that. It's now over to Liverpool to go to Old Trafford, arguably in a tougher game, a derby fixture, but to do something very similar, literally walk out with all 3 points. Courtney, I'll come to you. Will Liverpool respond? Will we respond in this game?
I hope to God. I hope. I hope to God. I just think we have to. I think they don't like to get in their heads too much in terms of what everybody else is going on. Like Klopp's mantra is always, like you said, George, just get through this game and then move on to the next game. They don't really think ahead. It's just one game at a time, and they just focus fully on that one game. Obviously, they are going to have it in their heads as well, the rivalry that goes on, the history between the clubs. They will be looking at the table and seeing where everybody else is sat, that they need to keep the momentum to stay with the pack. So I'm hoping, I'm praying. I'll be praying tomorrow. But yeah, I think we will. I think it will be fine.
Yeah,
I think we'll respond.
This is straight cap. This is the like George, you referred to earlier on. This is the Sir Alex Ferguson BS that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer likes to pull. Damn it, we know that Bruno's playing. Stop it. It's boring. Like, we know he's playing. Why are you doing this? This is bollocks. If anybody is falling for that shit, yeah, you don't know football. There is no way that Bruno is not playing. He's playing, yeah. You strap him up and you say, just walk around the pitch if you have to. You bring him on at halftime. Whatever you do, he's going to play some role in that. And also, Bruno Fernandes, being the player that he is, the hunger that he has, that Portuguese fire desire, yeah, he's like, no, bro, I'm playing this. You don't tell me I'm not playing in this. I tell you that I'm playing in this, because you're Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and I'm Bruno Fernandes. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, crazy. What's this? Cheers from Dallas, Texas. Prediction score 2-2. Guys, you're way ahead. We're going to get to predictions shortly. You're way ahead. Like, we're going to go predictions very soon. This one. 3 points at Old Trafford would be amazing. I think every big team after us who goes there won't be facing Ollie. Strike while the iron's hot. Well, thanks for coming in to the chat. I haven't seen you pop up before, so thank you for joining us. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button before you leave, though, because that is a very, very good point. We touched on that slightly earlier on the show, whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be in the job come 90 minutes at Old Trafford remains to be seen. A little bit of housekeeping as well. Guys that are in the comments as well, please make sure you're smashing the like button as well. You are liking and subscribing, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on anything that the Red Sea Podcast and the Red Sea Down Under have coming up. SS, talk to me, bro. Like, Chelsea 7-0, Norwich, City 4-1 against Brighton. Those are emphatic results. Like, we have to apply, don't we?
Do you know, they are and they aren't. And I'll be honest, we played Norwich first game of the season, and you all sat there and said, oh, Norwich are going to be all right. They're better than they were 2 years ago. And I said, no, they're way worse. They've lost Lewis. They've lost Godfrey. They've lost Buendia. Pookie's 2 years older than he was before. I said they're going to lose 25 games minimum, and they'll be bottom of the league. I was right. Norwich are crap.
Okay, you were right.
Shit.
Yes, you were right.
They are. They could possibly be the worst Premier League team we've ever seen. They could take Derby's record. That's how bad they are. So I don't care about the 7-0, right? Honestly, I think the top three, Bournemouth, Fulham, and West Brom in the Championship currently could beat Norwich. That's how bad they are. So nothing surprises me there. Brighton, yeah, they've had a good start to the season, but it's Brighton against Man City. It's expected, yeah. So those two results, I'm not like, oh my god, shockwaves through the Premier League. That's without a COVID season, you're going to start seeing the results like this again. You know, we had that crazy year last year where nobody really ran away. You know, I know City won it, but it wasn't like 99, 100 points like we'd seen in previous seasons. You know, there was a lot more unexpected results that you wouldn't expect to see. And this season, we've basically seen a return to the status quo, haven't we? The big teams are beating the teams you'd expect to beat pretty comfortably. So I don't look into that and go, oh my God, you know, we've faced City, we've faced Chelsea, both at home, both draws, could have won them, could have lost them. I think it's going to be nip and tuck the whole way through the season. And it's not really about the head-to-head so much, unless it's really, really close. It's about the consistency and beating the teams you're expected to beat. So, as I've said, Man United away, I would take a draw at this early stage. I would, you know, it's not the end of the world. We would be well within the title race still. Of course, I want a win. Of course, I think
Don't take draws. We don't take draws.
I don't want to draw.
Disgust.
I don't want
The
to draw.
disgust on Courtney's face when you said that. The disgust. SS, take it back, son. Take it back.
Take it back.
Take it back,
son. World, is it? If we
take it,
draw,
no,
it's not.
Take it back.
I'm gonna get off people. I live here. You know, I have to walk out on that street with my head held high.
We can win. We can win this game, but I'm not afraid of the other teams. You know, we've got to go to Stamford Bridge. We've got to go to the Etihad. They're going to be tougher games than tomorrow, I think. So I think we can get a result.
Exactly. That's why we can't afford to have a draw. We can't.
I won't be too disappointed if we do. You know, I look at the City and the Chelsea games at home. Yeah, we could have won them with the 10 men, with Chelsea especially. But the draw at Brentford is the one black mark on the season so far for me. The teams that we should be beating home and away. So if we draw at Old Trafford, let's be fair, that's not going to be one of them games you look back on and think, oh, you know, do you remember that year when they had like 3 injuries in the first 10 minutes and we still couldn't beat them?
So let's paint the scenario then, yeah? Let's paint the scenario, because you're saying a draw is not the end of the world, right? We get to Christmas, United still languishing in the mud. The Glazers decide to pull the trigger and put Ollie out of his misery. They go and get Conte. We play them in the second half of the season. Conte turns up, makes them solid. That fixture becomes much more difficult.
Yeah.
United are at their weakest at the moment. They're at their weakest because not squad wise, but tactically, team spirit, supporters. It's the perfect mix to go in there and just put the dog out of its fucking misery. Like literally just put it down. Like, do you see what I'm saying? So for us to sit here and go, yeah, you know, we take a draw at this stage in the season. No.
How many times have we seen it though, that we play Man United before Christmas and it's always a boring 0-0 draw, isn't it? Every time.
Certainly. My worry is United after Christmas. What happens after Christmas? Do they sack Ollie, put the kid out of his misery, and go and get an elite level manager to manage elite level players? CR7, Sancho, Martial, Rashford, Bruno, Pogba, Varane, Ledesma, Varane. Like, they've got Ledesma, Varane. Like, that is a big thing. This is an opportunity to just kick them in the nuts and say, do you know what? You lot of shit. We're back on our perch, but you lot of shit. Rather than say, we'll take 1 point now because we're going to need
I think it will be a lot closer than we think it will tomorrow.
It might well be. It might well be. And I understand that. It may be closer, but we cannot sit here and say that a draw will do. It's 3 points or nothing for me. 3 points or nothing. And I'm with you, Courtney. How can you walk around with your head held high in that city of Manchester when SS is saying it's going to be a draw?
Exactly.
I didn't say it's going to be a draw. I said it's not the end of the world. I think we're going to win.
All right, cool.
Honestly,
cool.
I can't be dealing with that. It's hard enough to live here as it is.
You're just confused. You're a Liverpool fan with a Burnley accent living in Manchester. You're fucking me off.
Oh, cool, you going?
Sean in the comments, man. You like your daughter's been fed to the wolves, man. She's in Manchester with a Burnley accent supporting Liverpool. It's just a sad situation. But we
I've
moved.
stayed strong throughout though. I've stayed loyal. I have stayed strong.
And then SS has the disrespect to come on here and start talking about a draw. It's horrendous. I know. SS, you're a fucking shambles. Let's leave it there. Right, guys. The big
Elephant
one.
in the room.
The draw. the big one. The big one. Right. Mohamed Salah is like God right now. He is playing the most scintillating football of his career. What are we? 10 games, 9 goals in all competitions. It's unreal. Look, Liverpool are playing a very dangerous game by not just getting this man wrapped up. He gave an interview on Sky Sports 2 days ago where he's basically turned around and said, I want to spend the rest of my career at Liverpool Football Club. Does this contract situation, and I'm going to refer to it as a situation because the longer it continues, it will evolve from a situation into a standoff. Yeah, because the battle lines are being drawn. His agent is in the papers talking about £400,000 a week. Liverpool Football Club are in the papers talking about we don't want to break the wage structure. The battle lines are being drawn. Look, does this situation threaten to overshadow potentially what could be a great result at Manchester United, beating your forever rivals? And then after that, we're still talking about a Mo Salah contract situation. If he goes and bangs a hattie against Manchester United, like what? Like FSG, give your heads a wobble. Like George, I'm going to come to you on this. Where do we stand with this?
Firstly, I don't think it'll overshadow at all. I think he's in great form. I think he's in great spirits, and he's got 2 years left on his deal. I know we've said this about it. This is the time when every player that has 2 years left on their deal, usually, this is when we say they should sign it, and we all say that we're comfortable and calm about it, and then 2 years later, they end up leaving on a free. So this has happened twice before. It's happened with Emre Can. It's happened with Gini Wijnaldum. Actually happened with Dejan Lovren as well. I'm not sure if that was the same thing. We actually managed to sell him, so we actually managed to get some funds for him. But this happens to us. It's again not learning the lessons from before. You know, it's the thing. We didn't sign a defender. We had an injury crisis. It's the fates. We didn't sign a Gini replacement. Slowly, midfielders are getting picked off. We're not learning from this situation. That's what annoys me. The thing that annoys me is that Salah probably asked for 275, maybe 300 at the beginning of the
last season. Yeah, I agree.
What's that? Yeah,
no, he asked. Yeah.
Yeah, he asked for that last year. And then Liverpool go, let's see how this goes. Let's try and make a bargain here. And then he scores a bunch of goals. And then then he goes, look, 325. And then Liverpool go, what about the 300 you asked for before? And Salah goes, no. Give me 325 now. And then Liverpool go, let's leave it and let's see if we can get a discount. Let's see if we can get a bargain.
Yeah.
Then he scores the wonder goal against Man City. And then he scores one goal against Watford. Then he asks for 375. And they're like, can we give you 350, like you said before? And it keeps going. And it's like, guys, arrest the slump. Just give him what he wants. Having said that, I'm not worried about this overshadowing anything. I think we do have Salah for his best years right now. I think he will be like Ronaldo. Look at his body. He's absolutely going to keep going to 35. And it's the style of player he is. He's not Sadio Mane. This is going to sound very technical as well from a former, decent footballer, maybe. I don't know, not that good. Australia's not that good. But you look at the style of the gait of his run, for example. It's small steps, same as Ronaldo. He runs like a sprinter, Ronaldo. So does Salah, runs small steps. Sadio Mane, long steps. Very susceptible to getting injuries if you play that way, although that Mane does not get injuries. You can see bits and pieces maybe slowing down. Salah doesn't use outright pace to do what he does. It's all futsal style of control. And it's also, he's also finding himself at the right space at the right time. That doesn't leave. It's not Daniel Sturridge where he loses that burst of pace. It's not, going back to one of our old, from down under, Harry Kewell absolutely lost it when he lost his legs for Liverpool. Mo Salah is going to be the same player, like Lionel Messi. He's going to be the same player in 4 or 5 years. That's why I think it's important that we do keep him. Having said that, we've got to do damage control here. We do have him for 2 years. If he does leave for free, I think it's catastrophic in terms of value. I think FSG should be thinking about this. But you also got to think about what this does to our wage structure. You know, if Salah goes up to 400, it's broken. It's gone. You know, it's like broken the seal, as they say. So it's difficult. It's just another mistake from early. Give him the contract last year. You would have saved money. Do these things when they matter at the moment. And now we're kind of, again, we're sitting here dragging our heels, and we're kind of getting punished for trying to get a bargain. Don't buy the shit TV 3 times. Just buy the good TV at the start. That's what Liverpool try to do. Try and buy three shit TVs at the start. Just
I agree
do
with
it
you.
right now. But
I agree with you.
Long story short, I don't think
here as well.
I agree with you.
Right.
The key thing,
I don't think it'll overshadow. That's all.
The key thing for me is, and I'm a firm believer in, quality is remembered long after price is forgotten. Yeah, he is a sensational footballer. Yes, I understand we've got him for another 2 years left on his contract, but why would you not want to secure that? We spoke about this on our Salah show when we spoke about, is he now the greatest player in Liverpool's Premier League era? And James Pearce said it. Chris Pajak from Red Men said it. SSU said it. I said it. Giving that man £400,000 a week, I don't think the other players in the dressing room are going to give 2 hoots, because they know how important that man is to Liverpool Football Club, to the continued success and dominancy of Liverpool Football Club. For us to remain as the dominant force that we are currently in European and the world, in world football, Mohamed Salah is key to that. The very fact that he probably produces mega commercial revenue because he's an African Muslim man plying his trade in the Premier League, and doing it at the top of his game, arguably the best player in world football currently. The shirt sales are probably crazy. Every other kid has probably got a Mohamed Salah shirt, because he's a god right now. He's at the peak of his powers. FSG are playing a very dangerous waiting game, caveat, unless it's already signed. SS, do you think, and I'm going to twist this slightly, is it possible that this contract is already signed and we're all doing the hype thing of going, oh my God, he's not signing. Oh no. Oh my God. We were there at Watford, dude. We saw the brilliance, mate. We saw, like, honestly, that goal, seeing it live sends shivers down my spine. Sent the Watford defender to the shops, jinks back in and just parks it past Foster like he's not even there. And then the joke is he stands in front of the away fans and just looks at us like, what now? What now? What more have I literally? What more have I got to do for you guys to crown me? That's what it was like. It was mega. Yeah. Like, dude, like, is it signed? What do you think?
No, it's not signed. It's not. This is FSG. Like George says, we wait. Well, they wait, and then they regret. They've not signed the deal. If they've signed the deal, you don't sit on Mo Salah's signed a new contract. You release it to the world. The best player in the world has just signed for our club. Let's get as many shirt sales as we can now. They're all about the money.
Do you think they'll wait until January transfer window to reveal it?
Probably do it on deadline day. Like
no, don't do it. Don't do it. Because
it's a great point.
What I want to ask you guys, I want to play a little game. Okay, I'm going to say a player. I'm going to say the wage that they're on, and I'm going to tell you if we need them or not. Okay. So
don't bring
James Milner is probably going to leave at the end of the season, isn't he? This is the end of his contract. He's on £140,000 a week. Okay. Let's just transfer that to Mo's account. Mo's now on 340k. That's a good start, right? Minamino is on £75,000 a week. Do we need him? Do we really need him?
That is a risk-free transfer. We paid 7 M's for him.
We did.
Yeah, so we could recoup. But we could recoup that 7 M's if we sold
absolutely.
it. So yeah,
Absolutely.
it could.
So there,
It could
all right.
go,
So there's Mo Salah's signing on fee, bonus loyalty fee, 7.5 million, and there's another 75k on top of the 340k. What's that? £415,000 a week. Good stuff. You know, we've got Naby Keita on 120, Chamberlain 120.
I don't think it's even worth like discuss. I think that he'll sign the deal. They'll get a deal. They'll accept it. There's no way they're letting that man walk. There's no way.
You have more confidence in FSG than I do.
We've said this before, and we've sat there going, "Nah, there's no way they're going to do that." And boom, they do it. Like FSG,
By the way,
are the gift that keep on giving.
I was just going to say that if you guys, I don't know if you know how much Cristiano Ronaldo was on at Juventus, because there's actually two answers. It's kind of like you'll be wrong no matter what. He was on nearly 1 million euros or something of the sort per week, the highest paid person on the planet in terms of like sports, I guess highest paid athlete. But he's only reported to be earning 500,000, which is still incredibly big, which is what I think he's getting at United. What makes up that 500?
Wasn't it?
Well, I think it's stuff like if he starts the game, he gets an extra hundo. If he scores one goal, if he plays the 90, like, I mean, look, I'm not the biggest expert on that sort of stuff, but Salah's already on something like that. We need to just be padding that contract with that. Release it as 275 a week or 300, whatever Virgil's on, and pad it all the way up to 600 or something like that. So it's not a question of can we afford the money, because he should be on 400,000. For me, I would be paying him whatever he wants, even 1 million, whatever he wants. It's just what it does to the wage structure. You don't want Sadio Mane saying, "Can I have his one?" You don't want players coming in like Mbappe going like, "If we ever sign him, we're never going to." But those sorts of players, even Jude Bellingham coming in and saying, "If he's on 375 or 400, I want to be on 200." And then you got Jordan Henderson going, "I'm not even on 200. What's going on here?"
I get it. I get it. I think FSG need to, if we want to compete for the best players in world football, we've got to step into the real world. With contract offers. If we want to be at the table, okay. Devil's advocate, Raheem Sterling becomes available in January, let's say. City want to sell him to balance their books. They've just bought Grealish for 100 M's. There's no way they don't have to sell. Mahrez and Sterling are on the chopping block. Let's be very clear. Liverpool have been linked with him. If you want to go and sign Raheem Sterling, who I personally think would be a sensational signing for Liverpool Football Club.
Agreed.
Especially in a season where we've got an AFCON. Mane goes, Salah goes. We're going to need somebody who's going to chip in. If we could even get him in January, which is wishful thinking,
impossible.
But it's wishful thinking, yeah. It's virtually impossible. But he's going to want 250k plus performance-related bonuses, yeah? How do we expect to compete if we're not willing to do that? Look at the amount of revenue that Liverpool Football Club generates. If not, it's ridiculous. The Nike deal, the stadium is sellout week in, week out. It is a sellout. It doesn't matter if you're playing against Burnley in the first league game or if you're welcoming whoever on the Champions League night. You cannot get a ticket to get in that place. It's sellout. So for me, there is no reason why we should not be paying players, let alone the best player in world football, what he's worth, whether it's performance related or not. We have to find a way in these times where contracts are more sophisticated than they ever have been to give that man what he is worth. Courtney B, over to you on this one. Like, can you fathom in 18 months' time Mo Salah saying, "Yeah, I've signed a pre-contract agreement with PSG. See you later, guys"?
No. And I think part of it as well is that Salah will see all these players that have left. Like you said before, Coutinho, they're leaving, they're not happy. And I think he knows that where he's at now, the praise that he's getting, he's a legend, he's an icon, everyone loves him, the fans love him, everyone loves him. He's not going to get that again. Fair enough, he's a world-class player, but he's appreciated at Liverpool. And I think he knows that, and that's why he's saying that he wants to spend the rest of his career at Liverpool, because players that do that, they're remembered for years and years and years, where they're loved. It's like a family kind of thing. It's a bit strange, but that, like Steven Gerrard, the things we would do for that man. Like, I think he knows that, and I know that he knows that the grass isn't always greener. It's not always greener where the money's at. So I think he knows that. So I'm pretty confident that that situation will happen. I can't see it.
If he needs any reminders, he's only got to phone up Philip Coutinho, Gini Wijnaldum, Emre Can. The list goes on as to why it's integral for him to stay at Liverpool Football Club. Guys, as we close, thank you to the guys in the comments. Ultra Freestyle Swordsman, you absolute legend. 21 away from 500. Guys, in those comments, we want you to be one of those 21s that gets us to 500 subscribers. It's important that we get to 500 subscribers because we can keep delivering you guys the top quality content that you are seeing on your screens right now. And guess what? You get to see more of me. Yeah, can't say better.
Everyone wants to watch.
Everybody wants to see more of me. But guys, please like and subscribe. Your continued support would be absolutely 110% appreciated. Guys, we appreciate every single one of you for contributing. Now, we get to the part of the show which SS loves, me and Courtney hate. Yeah. And do you know
I've already dropped mine on the Rivals point of view. I was in the comments with my score prediction.
You did. Yeah, but we're gonna see if you've remembered it or if you actually stick to it. Probably after a conversation with SMS like you two do. But we won't get into
Change it to a draw.
Courtney's looking to put her hand virtually across the screen and strangle you.
That
Oh, God. All right, look, here you go. Shout out to you, boy. Here you are. Shout out to you, lad. Thank you for jumping on. My number one fan, both my sons in the comment, Regan and Remy. Although it is 10:15.
Is he saying that you're not his dad?
No, I think he's saying
doesn't want to see more of him.
Yeah.
There's a comment in here, not my dad. Although it is 10:15 and you have got a huge Titanic football game tomorrow morning, which I'm expecting only 3 points, so go to bed. Anyway, score predictions. George, I'm going to come to you first because SS is apparently going to stick to what he said before. This is a chance for reprieve for you, SS, but you'll go last. What do you reckon the score's going to be tomorrow against Manchester United in this Titanic tie?
Well, I think my prediction was 3-1, and I think it could be. It's essentially if you say 3-1 or 4-1. I could even say 4-1. You're essentially saying 2-1, and then Salah or someone does something really cool at the end, like what happened last time. So it's essentially a 2-1 win, but we score something at the end when United really push up. I just think it's worth noting that I want us to get a clean sheet. I'm so desperate for it, but if you have to put me, on the spot, their best player, in my opinion, at the moment, the one that I would want the most is Mason Greenwood. I think he's so good. There's something we spoke about on the training ground. Again, for you guys, we've got 17 viewers here, so go watch that if you want to see some tactical insight into Man U. But something that they do that we struggle with is entering the box in that space between our centre midfielder and the centre back. It seems to be getting exposed between LCM and Van Dijk and RCM and Joel Matip, and it's forcing those centre backs to have to come out and make a decision. Greenwood scores with his right foot from there all the time. If he doesn't do that, he goes onto his left foot and curls a top corner. So they've got weapons. Cristiano Ronaldo from in the air can be really, really dangerous for them. Bruno Fernandes from distance, incredibly difficult to deal with. So they've got so many weapons. Paul Pogba, who's going to be playing a pseudo midfield winger role. So I have a feeling they could score a goal, and I wouldn't put it past Greenwood to score against us. Not even to mention Marcus Rashford cutting in on his right foot. That space in the box, that little area where Griezmann scored, if you guys remember the second goal, when it's just like the laces strike, that area is dangerous for us. We just need to close that down. Having said that, I think a good Virgil van Dijk switch over to Salah, him getting one-on-one with Boxhead, Fridgehead, Maguire, let him do his beating 6 players and scoring thing, and we have to back him up because, like I said, against Watford, I said this in the training ground as well, against Watford, he actually tries it once and fails, and it's Keita and Firmino that win the ball back and say, try again. That's what we need to do with Mo Salah. We need to give him the platform to beat 6 players. And to do that, you need to be pressing with him. So if he does lose the ball, you can give the ball straight back to him, or you can win it back, and they're all at 6s and 7s. So, yeah, something along those lines. Hopefully we do score the 3 goals, and it's 3-1. That would be my prediction.
Mate, 3-1 would be an amazing shout. Courtney B, score predicky. What are you saying?
Mine was 3-1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was speaking to a flatmate about it today, and I was saying that I thought my prediction would be 3-1. I asked my friend, she's a United fan, and she thought it'd either be like a 1-1 or a 2-1, but she didn't know either way. She was like, I think she thinks they're going to get beat, to be fair. She just didn't want to say it.
I think they all think they're going to get beat.
Yeah.
But
well, she offered to go to the game,
see.
and she said no because she didn't want to watch United play shit and get beat against Liverpool. So that to me was the answer right there. That she knows.
Yeah, she knows what's coming. She knows what's coming. Without further ado, Southern Scouser, what's your score prediction, sir?
United love going behind, so we definitely take the lead. I think we win 2-1. I think they are going to score. I agree with a lot of what George said. They do like a goal against Liverpool. But we've had a couple of humdingers with them lately, haven't we? We went through a stage where it was 0-0, 0-0, 1-0, 0-0, 1-0 either way. And the last couple of Old Trafford, 4-2 and 3-2. So not quite as entertaining as that, but I'm going to go 2-1. I think Mo Salah scores one and makes one.
Okay. And guys, I'm going to stick to my score prediction from the other night. But if you want to know what that is, you need to head over and watch the show. I've put the link for the training ground show there for you. So, guys, if you don't know where to find that, please head over and hit that link for us now. That is a training ground show. At least I think it's a training ground show. I'm sure it is. The training ground show that we did, or that George and PK, the GOAT, did the other day regards the Manchester United game. And to be honest, these guys, they never ever get it wrong. The last couple, no, seriously,
now.
no, guys, look, I will back you. Every single show you've done, you have predicted goals, where they're coming from, how we intend to play. It's been sensational, and the show doesn't get enough credit. So, guys, in the comments, head over and watch that show, because it is a full tactical analysis and tactical breakdown and digest by real life pro licensed coaches. We don't muck around here on the Red Sea Podcast. We give you the top quality content. We're not sat here with a little tactical whiteboard sliding around black and white characters. We do it proper. Head over and watch that show. SS, what have we got coming up over the course of next week for the viewers? Tell them where we're at.
Yep, so we've got quite a lot actually. We've got obviously it's Liverpool Preston. I don't know if we're going to do anything for that or not. We don't normally with the Carabaos, unless you want to do one of those academy shows, George, because there'll probably be a lot of them involved in that game.
I know, yeah, maybe.
Could be a good one. Other than that, we've got Fab 4 Brighton next Friday. We've then got the Atletico Madrid number 2, probably on the Monday, 1st of November. We've got Fab 4 West Ham, obviously on the 5th of November as well. And then we've got the international break. So that takes you up to the second week in November. So there'll be Red Sea full times as well on LFC Day Trippers as well. And lots of, we've got the training ground for all those games. We've got a Rivals Point of View for all those games as well. So lots and lots. So obviously you've got to subscribe to not miss a thing.
Guys, in the comments, I am looking for moderators. Anybody wants to get involved in the Red Sea Podcast as a moderator, please drop me a DM on Twitter, or drop SS a DM on Twitter. You know where we're at, or even on the Instagram, or even on the email. However you want to get in contact, send us a message and we can discuss being a moderator for the channel. Yeah, we want to get as much of you guys involved as possible with what we've got going on here at the Red Sea Podcast. And it's a good place to be, and it could progress into something else. So give us a shout. We'd love to get you involved. So, George from Down Under, tell the viewers where they can find you.
On the Twitter, yeah, at George H. Xanthus. Yeah, that's where you can find me. I don't usually get asked that, so they put me on the spot. There we go. It's just there on the screen. You could just copy that in, and that's find me on any social. That's where I'm at. And the Red Sea Down Under, of course, at Red Sea Down Under. That is for the Australian leg, the Australian contingent of Red Sea Podcast. So yeah, please head over there and see what we do. We find ourselves pretty laid back and chill and whatnot. So yeah, have some fun with us.
Yeah, cool. And for guys that don't know, George is actually a fantastic actor, but I'll get him to plug some stuff another time. Courtney B, where can the viewers find your pretty face? Tell them where you're at.
So on Insta, it's Courtney L. Barker X, and on Twitter, it's at CourtneyB_XXX. I'm still waiting for Southern Scouser to try and catch up on Twitter, like he said he was gonna.
I need to put some raunchy pics on to try and catch you up, don't I? Really?
Yeah, that's it. So, guys, Christmas is coming up. So, Southern Scouser will be doing a Christmas calendar with loads of different poses to try and catch up Courtney's Twitter following.
Oh dear.
Do you know what, guys? If we get to 500 subscribers, the Red Sea Podcast will do a Christmas calendar. This is what we'll do.
On your own.
We'll do a Christmas calendar. Yeah, we'll do it. Listen, we'll do it. I can't say you're going to see any topless shots from me, but yeah, we will. Or Courtney B, but we'll do a Christmas calendar.
Yeah. And on that note,
get us to 500 subs. Get us to 500 subs, and we'll do it. George will get involved. I know PK likes to take his shirt off. I know that. I know that the Red Sea Down Under like to wear wigs and dress ups to shows. So we'll do it. Let's do it. 500 subscribers is the game. Let's get there.
The calendar.
We're still on 479. Yeah.
Can I be December? Can I be December if we do a calendar?
Of course you can.
That's fine then.
Yeah. You just wear a bit of tinsel. You'll be fine.
Tinsel.
Oh gosh.
Guys, listen. I've been Tiago's Father 89. You lot know where to find me at the Twitter and on the Instagram. Keep it Red Sea Podcast all of the time. The target is 500 subscribers. Make sure you are one of those. Thank you for locking into our show this evening. It's been absolutely epic. And guys, it's Manchester United versus Liverpool. The biggest game, most watched game in world football. Make sure you're keeping it Red Sea Podcast. We're over and we're out.